Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Splitting Hares podcast, part of Jackrabbit Illustrated, brought to you by our title sponsor, Drake's Place. They've got all sorts of specials going on. Be sure to check out our Facebook page. They got new sandwiches coming out. They got a Club 71 sandwich coming out. That's in homage to the Club 71 room. They've got a 605 Hogs sandwich coming out. That's going to be awesome as well. Looking at what's on there, that's going to be some phenomenal food. Make sure you get yourself in there. But we are the B team. I'm Brendan here, as always, with Ben, and it is finally conference season.
Yeah, man. Excited for it. It'll be interesting. We've seen Missouri Valley teams have played pretty well. We got a bunch in the top 25, so we'll see where we go from here.
Right. And I mean, that's pretty, I think FCS as a whole is definitely up this year compared to normal years. I think probably a lot of that has to do with the spring season, things like that. But it still feels pretty typical for the MVFC where everybody has good out of conference seasons because they're good teams. Just because you're not a top Valley team doesn't mean you're not a good team. And then once after your three out of conference games, not preseason. That's kind of rude to other conferences to say that. But your three out of conference games, generally everybody's looking good. USD has had quite a few years where they've looked good. They look good again this year. Honestly, they look pretty good. I've been impressed with them. Missouri State, Indiana State, sometimes Western Illinois. Will all kind of take their turns being fringe top 25 teams, and then the season happens and they start playing Valley teams and they drop out. So now's when the fun part starts, right? We get to see what everybody's really made out of, and there's going to be some fun games coming up this week.
Yeah, definitely. Let me go over quick. We'll check out the top 25 real quick to give you a recap of that. All right. So, yeah, we're sitting at number 2 still, 1 point behind Sam Houston, 10 first place votes back. And then you've got NDSU at 5, Southern Illinois at 6, UND at 10, Northern Iowa at 14, and Missouri State at 16. So 6 of the top 16 teams in the top 25 are Missouri Valley teams, which is insane.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible depth of the conference. When you look at it, even Western Illinois, who looks like they're going to be a dog in the conference, still gave Eastern Washington everything it could handle. They kept the game close at Montana, which for your cellar dweller is pretty good to do that to a team that beat Washington. Youngstown State is probably the other team I would tab as the, team who's looking like they're fighting for the bottom. And they beat Incarnate Word, who just beat Texas State, who's an FBS school. So that's top to bottom. And, Sam Herder has a article about it on Hero right now about, the Big Sky versus the MVFC. Has the Big Sky passed the MVFC? No, they haven't, and kind of goes through all those sort of stats and why. But it is incredible, the depth of the league this year. It's usually tough, but you can always kind of count on like Missouri State. Like, yeah, they'd snag somebody, but generally that for the top teams, they were snagging more like a mid-level kind of playoff aspirational team. They wouldn't snag SDSU or NDSU very often.
Yeah, and I actually didn't mean to slight them on purpose, but I'm not mad about it. USD is actually in the top 25 as well, the number 24. So we've got 7 of the Missouri Valley teams are in the top 25.
So, and just so everybody remembers, we're using the Any Given Saturday poll.
Right.
That's always been our personal favorite poll. We are part of the FCS Fans Nation podcast network now, but we still are going to keep in our AGS roots that we like with the polls and things like that there. And just because we've always felt that that's been the best, if not for sure, one of the best out there.
Well, because correct me if I'm wrong, they do a top 10, right?
They just started doing a top 25 like 2 weeks ago-ish, gotcha. I think they start. And I don't think that's a full fan member. If I remember right, it's not all the fans on the page doing it like their top 10. It's the admins there, and all those guys, Matt Frazee, and everybody there, Jamie Williams, the FCF, and Lauren Smith, the two stats voters that they have on there and all that stuff.
Gotcha. Well, good deal. Yeah, we'll stick with AGS for now, but we might check out the Fans Nation one every once in a while. What's up, James? Let's go. Chad says, sup, fellas. How we doing, Chad?
What's up, Chad? Chad's got my stuff in his garage, so I have to be ultra nice to him. Otherwise, he can use it as firewood. So that'd be really nice to Chad.
I love that picture of Chad. That's amazing.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Brad says, amazing upset of Northern Arizona over Arizona, especially after USD whooped them. And he says Missouri Valley still the top conference, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, it's been fun and entertaining to see how many FCS teams have beat FBS teams this year.
Right, and you look at Missouri State; they were close to taking down Kansas State, who is ranked number 25 right now. UNI almost knocked off number 7 Iowa State. Southern Illinois just about beat who'd they play this last weekend? Was it Oklahoma? No, was it Oklahoma State?
No, not last weekend, but I think it was
2 weekends. Yeah. But they about took down a Power 5 team. That Northern Arizona one, I walked away and didn't pay attention because I was at a wedding to a lot of FCS games, so I was busy helping with that. And, first off, let me make this very clear to everybody who's listening. If you schedule a fall wedding or allow your wife to schedule a fall wedding, you're just a bad person. Like nobody wants to go to a fall wedding. I get it. The temperature's nicer, but you know what? You might get snow and sleet, and someone's going to hold a grudge against you for the rest of their life. Christian Newberry, if by chance you're watching, I'm holding a grudge against you forever. I hope you know that, even though it wasn't a Jacks game that weekend. But then FCS went nuts. That Missouri State game was crazy. The Missouri State game was the weekend before, wasn't it? Versus Central Arkansas.
Josh said Missouri State nearly beat Oklahoma State. That was week 1.
Okay, and then it was Southern Illinois with Kansas State.
Correct. Yep.
I had them flipped. Thanks. Good save, Josh. You're my boy, Blue. Appreciate you. It's been wild. It was a fun weekend.
Yeah, Brad agrees with you on fall weddings. Yeah, I actually have one to go to this weekend.
Oh, boo that man.
I know. Hopefully I'll be able to catch a Jacks game on my phone or something.
Do you get to do a speech at it? Are you part of the wedding?
I'm a groomsman, not the best man though.
So you gotta walk up and snatch that mic, and you gotta make a statement for all the women out there that are gonna be trying to snatch that bouquet. Be like, look, I want you to know that I'm holding a grudge against those two forever for this crap. So don't get on my shit list or anybody else's.
At least it wasn't a home game. Yeah, Ray Granowski says schedule it during a bye 2 years out. I like it.
They did schedule it during a bye, the one I went to, and I'm not holding as big of a grudge, but I'm still a little butthurt about it. That and it was just it was an interesting wedding. I'll put it that way.
So why don't we go ahead and recap our picks from last week?
Yeah.
We had GMU and Weber State was the big game. I was I'd have to go play it back, but I think I was exactly right. JMU won by 13, almost 2 touchdowns. They looked really good against at Weber State and covered the spread there.
Yeah, they looked a lot better than I thought they were going to, traveling that far. And Signetti is kind of a dink, but he's also a damn good coach. So
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah, JMU is the real deal. I guess that was one thing I didn't mention is the top 5 is definitely solidified, I think, between Sam Houston, SDSU, JMU, NDSU, and Montana. People have kind of talked about how those are interchangeable. So we'll see where we go from there, but it's fun to have some parity there.
Well, yeah, listening to the FCS Fans Nation guys podcast, they're like, well, there's only 5 teams that I think are title contenders. Well, when's the last time we've had 5 legitimate title contenders?
Yeah, and there's some fringe
been
teams
a
too. I
while.
mean,
You know,
yeah,
take a while.
I mean, a team like Southern Illinois, I think, can get up there, and a couple others. It'll be interesting to see. Um, the second game we picked was Eastern Washington went to Western Illinois, which is always a weird place to play, and it was a weird game. Like they were scoring points. I think it was like 28-28 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
And so Eastern Washington, their first 10 possessions, they scored 9 touchdowns. They scored 62 points. Their final 6 possessions, they scored 0 points. And somehow
That's ridiculous.
They went and lost the cover. How they were up by like 20 some points up by 34. They were up by 34 in the mid third quarter. Like, what are you doing? Play some defense. And so, yeah, Eastern Washington went on to win 62-56, and they got a spot on bad beats because that is a ridiculously bad beat. Eastern Washington had that game in hand. Drives me nuts.
Yeah, it was terrible. And it's funny, because I just listened to that FCS Fans Nation pod here sort of recently, and they have Kyler Neal on there, who is a big Eastern Washington guy. And he also, for some reason, he's like low key doesn't really like SDSU. Like for like the last 3 years. Like for the last 3 years, he doesn't come out and say it. But he really has like there's something there. Kyler, if you're listening, I wanna know, because in the spring and then in like 2019 and like 2018, anytime SDSU's ranked in like top 5, well, I don't think they're just not title contender.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, listening to him.
Oh, Brendan's out. Well, so what he was saying is Kyler Neal, he's an FCS Fans Nation contributor. He's definitely I don't know if he's a hater, but he's definitely a doubter of SDSU. So I actually had to call him out for a take that he had an Oladokin that he ended up being wrong about, which he claims you got to wait to see the rest of the season. But Josh says no one likes us there, to be honest. There's like 10 of us on that page tops. Yeah, we'll have to, maybe we'll get some of us Jackrabbit Illustrated guys on there. I think Brendan's on there, but I'm not an active contributor on there. We'll see if Brendan makes it back, but if he doesn't, I will continue recapping our picks. So we had the crazy Eastern Washington game, Western Illinois covered somehow. UNI won 44-3 against St. Thomas, but did not cover. UND won 38-0. They covered their spread against Drake. NDSU won 35-7. That's a big win for them. Patterson looked pretty good, but Towson didn't look great. However, NDSU's run game is very, very strong. Yeah, Josh, you're on there and quite active. Yeah, I'll have to check it out on Fans Nation. I haven't been on there much. But yeah, NDSU's run game looks very, very dominant. And so, I mean, when we play them, I would imagine that we will just try to make them throw the ball and see if he can prove it. It looks like Brendan is back.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, I'm having a good day, guys. I'm having fun. My battery died on this. So people know this computer I'm using right now wasn't working so hot when we tried to start it. So then I went to my phone. My phone had a dead battery, and I have to plug in the iPhone headphones to get decent sound on it. And then that had 8% battery. So then that just died. And so we're on to the laptop again. And if that doesn't work, I'm just burning my whole house down. Which, because Ariel's gone, I could just chuck the dogs out. We're burning the house down. Guess we're moving like 2 weeks or like a week early, and I'm gonna be a squatter in my own house.
I like it. It's a good plan. So I was just talking about how NDSU beat Towson 35-7, and their run game looks really, really, really good. I mean, they roll out what they had, like, I think I looked at the stats. There was like 9 guys that carried the ball. Like, they've got a stable of running backs, plus Patterson, the quarterback, is a runner as well.
Right, and seeing those games, against Towson, and then God bless America, who they played in the week one, the other CAA team.
Albany.
Albany, yeah. I'm just twisted up as to whether their run game is that good or is like that improved, because it's not like it was bad last year. They could put numbers like that up against middle tier Valley teams. I'm curious what they look like against the upper echelon, because that's the standard for us and them, right? It's not necessarily how you look against Indiana State and Illinois State. It's how you look against in the marker game, how you look against UNI, how you look against Southern Illinois. Their run game, I think, is definitely better because they have Patterson able to run the ball. I think their offense is definitely improved. He's better at the long ball and having some accuracy on it. But man, Patterson was like 50% on his passing. So I don't know how sold I am on him as a quarterback. And I'm glitching really bad. Sweet.
All right, and we're back. Sorry, guys. So I'm actually in Duluth right now. So I'm relying on some hotel Wi-Fi, which may be a little sketchy. I'll show you. I do have a sweet view, though. Let's see. Oh, you can't really see it. There it is. There's Lake Superior. So that's pretty sweet. Chad's hopping on here. Chad's gonna maybe step in for Brendan. What's up, Chad?
Hey, hello. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Coming in to save us?
Just trying to hop on and save the day.
So we were just talking about NDSU's dominant run game. Patterson did look pretty good. He had one nice long throw to Watson, but he had a really, really clean pocket. He was just standing back there and was able to throw it.
What kind of weapon is that guy he throws a good deep ball, right? And
it just like I said, I think we'll just have to line up and make him throw the ball. But that's enough about NDSU. We'll keep going here. Indiana State, who we play this week, they were able to win against Eastern Kentucky.
And surprisingly did better than we might have imagined.
Yeah, no doubt. They didn't cover their spread, though. They were favored by 3, and they only won by 2. So there's that.
They looked really good in that, though. In my opinion, I think that squad's going to surprise a few folks this year. So
yeah, definitely. So Illinois State, they played Eastern Illinois. They won 31-24, did not cover. Southern Illinois covered easily, 55-3 against Dayton. And then lastly, USD looked really, really good against Cal Poly. They won 48-14, covered their spread easily. So it'll be interesting to see once USD gets into Valley play if they continue looking really good, because they have looked good so far.
You know, they were pretty decent last year when I watched them play like UND, but I think they had some key injuries and just didn't end up quite as good as they wanted to be. They're, I don't know. They're interesting. I want to see them not do well just because I'm a Jags fan, I guess. But...
Exactly. So let's go ahead and pick the games for this week. We're going to make this episode short and sweet.
Do I get to pick for Brandon?
Yes, you do. So we've got a couple non-MDFC games this week. We've got Sam Houston goes to Central Arkansas. Sam Houston's favored by 11.5. I will take Sam Houston in this one. That's a lot of points. But I think they go out there and win big. I
think they cover too. I think they win by at least 14, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I was thinking 2 to 3 touchdown game there. Big matchup between UC Davis and they go to Weber State. That's a pick'em game. Weber State coming off of a tough game against JMU. So
the ball bounced kind of wrong for them a couple plays, and it made all the difference in that game. So they could have easily pushed them for the tie. For a win. I don't know. I wouldn't look down on Weber.
No, I don't look down on them, but UC Davis is tough. However, I see Weber State bouncing back at home, and it's just a pick 'em, and so I'll take Weber State to win that one.
Yeah, and I'm no fun because I'm not arguing with you, but definitely I would go with Weber State in that instance too.
Gotcha.
For sure.
Illinois State goes to Southern Illinois. This is the first Missouri Valley interconference game we've had, and Southern Illinois is favored by 16.5, which is a lot. But Illinois State hasn't looked great this year. I'm going to take Southern Illinois. They're rolling right now. They got their offense going, and Illinois State just seems like they are struggling right now. Ever since the whole deal with SPAC in the spring, it seems like they haven't really had it going, I guess.
Yeah, the fighting mustaches versus the new quarterback led. New. I'm definitely taking Southern Illinois on this too. I think they're a top 5 program in the nation. So.
Yeah, they're right outside that top 5 that we talked about earlier. Western Illinois, who we talked about, has that crazy game. They've clearly got some offense, but I don't know how much of it was Eastern Washington just
lack of defense.
But they go to Youngstown State, and surprisingly, Western Illinois is a 7.5-point underdog, which kind of indicates where I'm going. I think Western Illinois covers this one and maybe even wins it, to be honest.
I would say I agree with you.
That seems
Youngstown State's kind of been a dumpster fire for a little while now. So
yeah, they've been struggling, kind of like Illinois State. I think that spread's way off, in my opinion. You got USD going to Missouri State. Missouri State is a 2-point underdog at home. That one's tough. I kind of think I'll take Missouri State here. I think USD comes down to earth, and Missouri State puts up a good fight at home.
And Missouri State, as we know, is a program that's up on the rise, and I think they got that ship turned around down there, and they haven't quite done that in Vermilion yet. They've had a good game here and there, and maybe that's what last week was, a good game. But I think they get whooped. I say Missouri State by a couple of touchdowns.
Damn, throwing some shade at USD. I like it. We will see. And then last but not least, we've got the SDSU game. We go to Indiana State, which it's similar to Western Illinois. It's kind of a different place to play. A little tough to get to, not as bad as Western Illinois, but SDSU is favored by 13.5 in that one. This will be an interesting game. I think it'll be a good gauge of where we're at. Indiana State's had some success this year. However, they've won the two games they've won are by like a combined 4 points, I think. So they haven't been dominant by any means, but they've looked pretty good. So yeah, I'm real interested to see how this goes.
Yeah, I know we've struggled with them in the past, even when they weren't a great team. Mallory's a great coach, and you could convince me of squeaking one out, and you could convince me of winning by 3 touchdowns. But I still think Jacks take it.
Yeah, I do too. I think we see them come out and establish the run game. I think the 605 Hogs take over. I think the defensive line, our chain gang, comes in and dominates and really gets after the quarterback. Yeah, I'll take Jacks by 20.
Again, I said you could convince me of 3 touchdowns, so yeah, no surprise. I would. I mean, don't bet on your own team anyway, but I wouldn't bet on anything on this game.
Yeah, I don't know. That it's tempting with that 13.5. Yeah, Josh Hoffman gave his prediction. 38-17 seems realistic. So yeah, that's right in that 21-point range. It's definitely tempting at 13.5 because I would think that we'll win by 2 touchdowns, barring some crazy stuff happening at the end. But we're just so deep that it'd be tough for me to see them score a bunch of points.
I think this might be the game where we see us start out with a run a bunch and have some success, and then I'm thinking that we're going to blow the top off and give Chris Oladokin a lot more room to throw the ball and see what he's got. I think he's going to perform well in this game.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see them let him loose a little bit. And, because we've really only seen it in one game against Colorado State. He didn't get a whole lot of run against Lindenwood. So excited to see more of what he can do because, it looks good so far. So anyway, we'll make it a short episode today since Chad had to help us out. Brendan had.
And I have some company that just showed up, so.
All right. Well, no worries. Thanks for helping, Chad.
All right. Go big.
Go blue.
Go
Jacks.
All right.